Hi, everyone. Welcome to Caring Cup Conversations, a place where you can have meaningful conversations over a cup of coffee. If you guys know, I'm Ayen Torre. I've been hosting the past two episodes, and I will be your host for tonight for this virtual hangout. So to get us started, I'd like to know where are you calling from? So nasan kayo ngayon sa lupalop ng Pilipinas or sa ibang banda? I really want to know where you guys watching. So si Ejan is watching from Dasmariñas. Good evening, Erica. May pakape-kape na si Moises. And good evening, Anne Minka Live. So right now, I'm in Lucena. It's the first time I'm traveling since the start of the pandemic, and I'm here to spend time with my family. So today lang tayo sa comment section to know where you guys coming from. But I'd like to start off by sharing ano nga ba yung theme of tonight's conversation. So tonight's episode is dedicated to those who want to kickstart their journey to a more sustainable lifestyle. We've actually invited three experts who are advocates of sustainability to share their tips and lessons that can help us make better choices in our everyday lives. And by joining us tonight, the fact that you are spending this time listening to their stories, learning about these tips and tricks, you're already off to a good start in the road towards sustainable living. And feel free to also spread the word, spread the movement of mindful and sustainable living by sharing this episode and tagging us on your social media pages. So for sure, make sure that you're following the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf and Caring Cup on Facebook. And to make things even more interesting and more interactive, we'll actually be giving away the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf reusable tumblers, 2021 giving journals, and 500 e-vouchers for our prizes tonight. So if you'd like to win any of these prizes, the bamboo reusable tumbler, the giving journal, or e-vouchers, make sure that you submit your best relevant questions for our guest speakers. So you can do that by just typing your questions on the comment section below. And apart from that, you can also answer our poll questions that I will share throughout the show. And you can also, ang daming ways, you can also join our game later. We'll have a very quick trivia game. And apart from that, syempre malamang, not just for the prizes, we're here for learning. So we've actually got an enlightening show coming right up. So make sure that you grab your cup of coffee or your tea, sit back, relax as we begin our conversation. So titingnan ko lang muna ang mga comment section natin. Sobrang dami na kagad. So hi Andrea, hi Kathy, hi Honeybell. Make sure to tag also your friends so they can tune in with you and also have the opportunity to win some of our prizes. Okay, so now our first guest speaker is the Chief Mermaid and co-founder of Save Philippine Seas. Before siya mag-pursue ng environmental conservation full-time, Anna actually worked as a musical theater performer, an events host, and a lifestyle journalist. Anna is someone who reminds me that sustainability is a journey. It's not a fixed destination. And the goal is actually not to be perfect, to not be 100% sustainable, because that is not possible. But actually, the goal is for us to always strive to be better. So tonight, she'll be sharing with us how we can actually save our seas from the seats of our home. So kahit nasa quarantine tayo in lockdown, there are ways for us to help conserve our environment. So let's all welcome Anna Oposa. Hi, Beth.
Hi, good evening.
So for everyone, we're actually friends. So ano friends tayo, di ba? So in a way, this feels like a warm conversation and something that we regularly encounter. And Anna is like that friend na parang if you want to learn more about sustainability, siya yung go-to person ko kasi non-judgmental and safe space. Tama ba?
Yes, of course.
Always. So I know tonight you have a very exciting presentation na may concrete talaga na examples of how we can reduce our waste and save our ocean. So I'm really, really excited. And feel free to shout out muna kung may gusto ka pang i-shout out sa comment section. Kim Cruz loves Chief Mermaid Anna. Love na love daw niya yung title mo.
Thanks. Okay, so I think I'm ready to present.
Go ahead. So I'm really excited. Everyone else, get your journals, take down notes, and feel free to ask questions all throughout Anna's presentation.
Thank you, Ayen, and thank you to the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf for having me here. Again, I'm Anna Oposa, and I am the chief mermaid of this organization called Save Philippine Seas. And tonight, my talk is going to be a citizen's guide to saving the seas. So, ang ibig sabihin ng citizen, it's the way we call our community because we want to remind everyone, every single Filipino, that no matter where we live or kahit ano pa yung trabaho natin, we are all connected to the sea. So you might be asking, a lot of people have asked me, why do you care about the sea so much? And sometimes it's hard to see how connected we are to the sea, especially if we're living in cities or now we've spent most of our time at home. But there are so many reasons why we need to love but also take care of our seas. So it provides a lot of livelihood opportunities, especially in the Philippines, where we are the second largest archipelago in the world. The coastal ecosystems like mangroves, seagrasses, and coral reefs protect us from typhoons and tsunamis. And of course, I'm sure a lot of you there listening and watching also have loved seafood dishes, which is a source of protein for a lot of Filipinos and a lot of Pacific Islanders as well. But in addition to that, what we don't really see is that it regulates our climate. So yung climate change na palagi nating naririnig, kung walang dagat, mas masama yung mga impacts niya to humans. But also, another thing that we don't really realize is that 50 to 90% of our oxygen comes from the sea. So ibig sabihin yan, every other breath we take comes from the ocean. But also, alam din natin how much the sea makes us happy. Marami akong nakikita during the lockdowns when people post, I miss the beach or I'd give anything to be on the beach. So it gives us so much happiness and well-being as well. But if we have a lot of benefits from the sea, I always say na kung magkaroon ng pelikula ang Pilipinas, it should be entitled Crazy Rich Oceans kasi napakayaman talaga ng dagat natin. But then again, being the center of biodiversity means we're also the center of adversity and napakaraming issues talaga that affect our seas. There's different kinds of pollution, which I'm sure you are familiar with. At some point, you've encountered different kinds of pollution. There's overfishing and what we call illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. So nauubos na yung mga isda natin ngayon sa dagat. Agriculture, the fertilizers that we use to grow our crops, they end up in the ocean. And of course, climate change, like I mentioned earlier. In the last year, can you believe it's been a year? There's been a surge in disposables. And some of it we really can't avoid, especially the medical waste and the deliveries and the e-commerce activity. But, I just want to, and this might come as a surprise, hearing it from someone who works in environmental conservation. But actually, plastic as a material isn't evil. In fact, ang dami-dami niyang benefits. I always say that it's become a victim of its own success. So, di ba, ang dami nating products in plastic like our medicine, our food, which protects it and keeps it fresh longer. You can see it in our IDs, in our credit cards, our ATM cards, even in some of our clothes, there's some kind of plastic in it. And it's very light and it's also very cheap to produce. So these are the qualities that make it a good material. The problem that we're facing now in the Philippines is the management of it or what we do after we use it. So we're making much more plastic than we can recycle. And we also don't have a lot of like recycling infrastructures and some political issues also that make it challenging to manage waste. And then, of course, I'm sure you're familiar with, the plastic pollution affecting wildlife, not just in the ocean, but also on land. So I'm going to give you in the next maybe 6 minutes or so, I'm going to give you a few tips that you can do at home to pursue your sustainable lifestyle. And, don't worry so much. I feel like a lot of the things that we see put a lot of pressure on us na, oh my God, may na-deliver na plastic, I failed, ganon. Hindi dapat, we shouldn't feel that way. And maybe we can talk about it more in the question and answer portion. But, not everyone can commit to a sustainable lifestyle overnight. There are a lot of adjustments and some resources that also need to be taken into consideration with what we can commit to and what we can't. But always remember that whatever it is that you're ready to commit to, it's already a step in the right direction. So this is level 1 of saving the seas from the home, which is just from where you are sitting right now. So be a student. Now there's so many free resources, videos, podcasts that we can all learn from. I personally love watching documentaries and listening to podcasts and books and reading books about the environment. But then it's also important. One of the things I do when I learn about the topic is I try to challenge the way I think. So if I am following this kind of school of thought, I want to read what other people are saying about it as well so that I have a more holistic perspective. So yan yung tinatawag natin na echo chamber or confirmation bias, na yung gusto mo lang marinig, yung binabasa mo or yung kinakausap mo. So it's important also to see other perspectives. I'm a big fan of e-commerce and online shopping, and I'm sure a lot of people watching can relate. But this year, my resolution is to really be more mindful of my purchases and think about what I already have before I buy them or before I add to cart. So ito yung tinatawag na hierarchy of needs. When I moved into my own place, I bought a lot of secondhand furniture, not just because it saves money na nga, but it also saves resources kasi a lot of people want to get rid of it and mahirap to get rid and dispose of furniture, especially because they're big pieces. If you're ordering food, and I'm sure at some point all of us have ordered food from our favorite restaurants during the lockdowns, we try to order from the nearby branches of where we like to eat to reduce our carbon footprint, but also we request not to put disposable cutlery. And then when we zoom out a little bit and talk about things we can do from our home, here are some. One is to cook at home. I do what we call meal prepping. So I cook 2 days a week. Tas yun na yung kinakain ko, mix and match ko na lang siya to reduce my disposables and takeouts and deliveries. It's also healthier and cheaper. Now, ladies, it's Women's Month pa naman. One thing we can talk about is try to switch to a menstrual cup. Medyo may learning curve to, pero once you make the switch, it's really going to be a different world. And then save energy, turn off the lights and unplug the appliances when not in use. And then be a soil mate. So 2 years ago, I learned how to compost. Well, I've been composting on and off since I was in college. So that's about 10 years ago. But it really helps if you're a plantita or a plantito like me. The soil that you get from the compost really makes your plants healthier. So that's something that I've been doing for religiously, committed to for the last 2 years. Take shorter showers or use a tabo. By subtracting 1 minute from your bath time, ang dami mo talagang tubig na masasave. I always wonder why people take so long in the shower. And then segregate your waste, segregate at source. And then here are some things you can do for your community. So ito na yung medyo level up. When you go outside your house, you can bring your reusables. I know there's been some concern about bringing reusables, especially during the pandemic, but I'm really happy that the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf has committed to still pursue their bring your own cup or bring your own tumbler in the stores. And I've actually posted about this last year when I visited one of the CBTL stores. And then, of course, support existing campaigns. Look up your favorite NGOs or groups that have sustainability initiatives, and also support efforts by corporations like the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. So by watching this, you're already supporting sustainability initiatives in your community. And make sure that you affirm them. So mag-comment kayo na great job, ganyan. Kasi syempre, the organizations also need support and validation. And I'm going to close with this. If you can, do write letters to leaders and tell them about your concerns. On Save Philippine Seas, we actually have some templates that you can download. It's important to call out maybe bad initiatives or initiatives that could have been improved, but also call them in and explain why we need to be more sustainable and what the options are. And with that, I'm going to close with my talk tonight. And we hope that we have a more rich conversation when we are back for the question and answer. So these are ways that you can contact Save Philippine Seas.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Anna, Chief Mermaid. Super excited na parang may levels, no? So, if tapos ka na sa level
Yeah.
1, pwede ka pa mag-level up even though you're stuck at home. There are ways to write to leaders, support organizations that are doing sustainable stuff, and maybe make certain changes or sacrifices like the menstrual cup, which I am also an advocate since Women's Month. Medyo may adjustment, pero at the end of the
Medyo
day,
may adjustment.
learning curve siya, pero, it reduces your waste and at the same time, marami pa siyang ibang benefits. But that's another whole level of talk. So I guess my question for you, since sobrang dami ng comments and questions in our comment section is, apart from the strategies or initiatives that you highlighted in your presentation, ano pa ba yung mga ginagawa mo personally to reduce your waste at home?
Well, one thing that I do is if I buy something, kunwari, peanut butter, ganyan. Tapos may jar siya, di ba? So I find another purpose for it. So if I'm buying, let's say, beans or peanuts or something, dun ko siya sinustore just to give it another life. Or like things in my office, paper clips, ganyan, I still put it in those reusable glass jars.
Nice. So parang it's really exploring your creativity. I think I have one example here. Yes, gusto mo yung may props ako. Parang, I think this was like a jar of cooking oil, then turned into like a potted plant. I mean, a pot full of plants. Diba? Plantitas and plantitas. So for everyone else, please share also your creativity, the way you upcycle or repurpose your waste, things that you would have thrown, pero ngayon may bago na silang buhay. Thanks to your dedication and your commitment on the comment section below. And later on, si Anna, makakasama pa natin siya. So for sure, yung may mga burning questions dyan, just keep on commenting them. Not just to, have a chance to win one of our giveaways, but also to be enlightened further by our Chief Mermaid, Anna. So for now, maraming salamat, Anna, and we'll see you later during the Q&A. Bye!
See you in a bit!
See you! And for everyone else, feel free to keep commenting and also sharing the words. So sabi nga ni Anna kanina, by tuning in into these conversations that are very into the mindfulness and sustainable possibilities, then you're actually already doing your part. And level 2 would be to actually share it. So make sure you're following the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf and Caring Cup on Facebook and Instagram and share it with the rest of your friends. All right, so now let's meet our second speaker for tonight. So joining our conversation is an environmental lawyer, public policy specialist, and law professor. She is currently a partner at YDL Law, where she handles the firm's portfolio on renewable energy projects, environmental compliance, advocacy work, and many more. Tonight, she'll actually go in depth on why we should reduce our waste. So kanina, ang dami ng concrete examples na shinare ni Anna. So si Alex naman will try to tell us why it's important to keep at it and how it will impact the progress of sustainability in our country. So allow me to introduce you to Alex Gamboa.
Hi, Ayen. Hello, good evening, and good evening to everyone joining us tonight.
Yep, super dami ng actually solutions or answers in the comment section and how they repurpose their waste. So let me just share a bit of it. So si Jengis Gonzalez uses glass bottles from drinks and use it a container for used oil. Para you can also repurpose the oil. And then some are also using container papers, plastics, and glass and use it to post it on free markets. And surprisingly, meron pa rin palang bumibili at gumagamit according to Grace. So that's so great to hear. And you can keep on sharing your answers in the comment section below. But Alex, since you're going to the nitty-gritty of why this is important, I'd like to start our conversation by asking you, ano nga ba yung sustainability for you? Because I feel like yung word pa lang na yun, sobrang intimidating na siya for our watchers or people that are just beginning their sustainable living. So in your own words, what is sustainability for you?
Yeah, so true, no? It's such a big word, and sustainability can mean so many things to so many other purposes. But for our purposes tonight, and for me, I really believe that sustainability is being mindful of how I use my resources, the resources that I take away from the earth, in order to ensure that others will have enough resources also for their needs, as well as that the future generation also has enough resources for their needs in the future.
Nice. Very Miss Universe. I love it. But very mindful. So it's more of like just thinking with intention, right? Like if you have a sea of choices, it's really choosing one that is more mindful and that thinks not just of your own sake or benefit, but also for future generations. I'm sure you have lots of things to say. So I'll go ahead and let you present more about why we should reduce our waste and in relation to that, how it will impact our country.
Thank you, UP. I'm sorry. Thank you, Ayen. So anyway, I'll start with my presentation na. And I call it Plastics and its Peers because tonight I'll really be talking about what the connection is of this big plastic challenge. I don't like calling it a problem. Parang mas positive pag-challenge yung word na ginagamit. So I'm really going to be talking about how this plastic challenge affects our other environmental challenges, which is also why we need to be mindful of how we use especially our plastic resources, because our individual actions actually contribute to a bigger could affect a bigger challenge in terms of other environmental topics or issues. So first and foremost, now why is it problematic? And I'm sure all of us have a rough idea of why it is problematic. But why is the use of plastic problematic? It is because especially plastics that we use during one time lang or single-use plastic, it is problematic because that one-time use of a certain plastic object or material, it will take many years for that certain plastic material to degrade. So for example, if we use, and we're very familiar with the plastic bag, and I'm very happy to see that, like coffee bean, I actually have a coffee bean paper bag here because I'm very happy that they moved their sustainability efforts towards phasing out even plastic bags. Because as we see in the infographic, one plastic bag, it will take 20 years actually for that single plastic bag to degrade or to break down. And that's only if you look at the chart or the image, the shortest time that a plastic material can degrade. If we look to the bottom, although it is not a single-use plastic item, the toothbrush, even so, it is a very limited use because according to our doctors, we need to change our toothbrushes every few uses. It actually takes 500 years to break down a single toothbrush. So that is why we should be mindful of our use of plastics. And what happens if we're not mindful? This is what happens. Our waste, especially plastic that tends to take a while to degrade, piles up in our landfills, and landfills can cause a lot of health problems as well as environmental problems to nearby and even communities who don't live anywhere near these landfills. One of the environmental problems that we can experience by reason of our waste piling up in these landfills is that sometimes these landfills, they leak into the sea. And that is why you find a lot of plastic waste floating around. If you've been to nearby beaches or you've gone island hopping, sometimes even in the middle of the sea, you'll see plastic waste floating. And that's really because oftentimes, not only do people pollute by throwing their plastic waste out to the sea or not throwing it properly in a garbage can, even when you bring it to the landfill, even when you dispose of it properly, sometimes it tends to leak out to the sea. Now, another problem of if we are not mindful of how much plastic resources we are consuming or using is that necessarily the more plastic you consume, the more plastic these factories will need to churn out. Because if there is a demand for plastic, because we use it so much, there is a high demand for that, necessarily plastic companies and factories will keep producing a big volume of plastic. Now, of course, we also know that if we keep producing a lot of plastic material by producing them in these factories, those factories emit harmful greenhouse gases that, of course, we all know now, and I've seen a lot of questions on it in the comment section, is that these greenhouse gases coming from factories will tend to cause climate change. Now, of course, climate change, we know this is such a huge problem. And I'll take the sea as an example since we started off with the chief mermaid of Say Philippine Seas, Miss Anna Oposa. Now, just one event, just one threat like the climate change already causes so many other threats to a single ecosystem. In this example, the ocean. When we have a change in climate, which is just one environmental problem, it already is a triple threat for the ocean, where you will see that the ocean will be warmer, will have less oxygen, and will be more acidic. And this will prove catastrophic to our coral reefs and our other ecosystems that support our fisheries in our seas. Now, another problem of plastic waste that we have to be concerned about is that because just starting out right now, our seas are already overfished, and you can see the statistics in this image. Most of our seas all over the world, including in the Philippines, are already overfished because of various reasons, including the mismanagement of our fish supply. And now, because we have this threat of marine pollution, which is in the form of a lot of plastic waste that comes from all our uses, either because it is improperly disposed out to the sea, or again, as I mentioned previously, if this plastic waste seeps out or leaks into the oceans, then an already overfished ocean is further threatened, because as Anna Oposa kanina already mentioned, most of our, and we're very familiar with this image, sometimes most of our marine mammals, or our fish, our turtles, and other marine organisms, they confuse plastic waste as food. And so we're very familiar of that, no? That turtle, that image that was so popular before, they eat jellyfish, but sometimes because there are a lot of plastic waste floating around in the sea, and they cannot distinguish what if it is a jellyfish or a plastic bag, they tend to eat these plastic bags, which of course are toxic to them, and from which they could die from. So imagine an ocean that already has so little fish in it, further threatened by plastic pollution that we can find in the sea. Now, I talk a lot about fish, and it is so important to realize that all these environmental problems that I just mentioned, which are affected by the plastic problem, they directly affect us because they threaten our food sources, including, as I've mentioned, the fish, but of course also even our rice, our crops, our land-based agriculture. Because ultimately, all these environmental problems will make it harder for us to get food. And that is how it directly affects us, among other reasons, of course. And we also need to remember that our actions in terms of managing our plastic waste and caring about the environment also directly affects people who are already at a disadvantaged position. I cite this Rappler article in 2014, where there was a study that came out that said that environmental problems or challenges like climate change will actually create a new sector in our population, which they will call the new poor, because people who are already in a precarious position, who are close to living below the poverty line, when it is harder to have access to food, when the weather gets worse, when fish that are not easily accessible now, or you cannot catch them in the ocean because they are dying from plastic pollution, these will be the people who will be first affected, because food will get more expensive, and thus there will be this new sector called the new poor, because of environmental problems. So I'd like everyone to remember, by joining us today and by listening to my presentation, that our actions, even within the four walls of our room, the four walls of our houses, it might feel like such a personal action that only affects us, because we might feel that our actions do not have a direct impact to other people and to other factors such as the environment. But always remember that your actions within just the four walls of your homes will always have an effect into all these other things, because in the end, we are all part of this larger ecosystem, and we are all interconnected. And that is why it is very important to be mindful how we use our resources, because our use of resources will also affect the use of resources of other people. And that is exactly what we mean by sustainability. Thank you. Thanks, Ayen.
Thanks so much, Alex. Alam, parang naging, repeated theme or word yung just being mindful. Like, it's not about being perfect. It's not about knowing all the answers, but just being mindful of our choices and how it affects other people then. And sabi nga ni Ana, di ba, we have crazy rich oceans, but at the same
Oceans.
time threatened by overfishing and also our plastic problem. So mukhang sobrang daming action sa ating comment section. I'm really glad that you guys are learning so much from Anna and Alex. So tuloy-tuloy lamang yung poll question about how you repurpose some of your waste. But we'll also have another poll question, and this is also directed to Alex. So, ano naman yung personal lifestyle changes that you've made to help also be more mindful of your choices and to help reduce your own waste? So, I know that you do this for a living. You've already dedicated your professional life in helping our environment. Pero ano naman yung mga personal sacrifices or adjustments that you've made recently?
So happy Women's Month again to all the women in the audience. And and just like Anna and you, Ayen, I also have made the switch to the menstrual cup.
Yay!
And life-changing siya, to be honest, guys. Give it a try, give it a chance. It really is life-changing. But besides that, I also, and a lot of the things I think I will say is something that Anna already also mentioned. I also do cook my own food, but also because I try to minimize my food waste, because food waste is another emitter of greenhouse gases. So when I cook my own food, I already know how much I will be able to eat. So I only cook that portion. And besides that, of course, and this has been echoed in the comments, I also bring my own reusable utensils, my reusable Tupperwares. And even when I order food, I actually try to take note of the restaurants that deliver their food in compostable or compostable packaging, so that I also don't include or add to more plastic waste in my own home.
Thanks so much, Alex. Mukhang marami din dito who share the same practices. And Mara Espina mentioned segregation ng garbage, reuse of plastics and bottles, eco bags, and soilmate din siya, katulad ni Anna. And then I think that's creating like a compost pest. A suggestion from Anna for anyone who wants to try the menstrual cup, just make sure that you also you clean it in the private parts of your home in case medyo crime scene na yun kapag sa labas. So thanks, Anna, for that suggestion. Mukhang madami talaga. It's always just about preparing. Utensils, eco bag, meal preps. It's just the taking that extra step before before you actually do something helps you tremendously try to reduce your waste. And as mentioned by Alex, kahit maliit lamang na bagay, right? Like it actually sends ripples if we all do it collectively and we think not just of ourselves, but of others as well. So for everyone, if you have any questions, 10 minutes lang yun, pero sobrang jam-packed sa learning. For Alex, feel free to comment it on the section below. Just tag either Anna or Alex para alam namin later who to direct the questions to. But for now, maraming salamat, Alex. Thank you for all the lessons, and we'll see you later at the Q&A. Bye!
Thanks, Ayen.
Salamat! Alright, so if you are watching right now, as mentioned by Anna and Alex, you're already doing your part because you're like a student. You're educating yourself, you're tagging your friends, you're spreading the word. So feel free to share this episode and tag us on your social pages, the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf and Caring Cup on Facebook. And since we've learned so much from our first two speakers, now it's time for a quick break. Tayo-tayo muna tayo, stretch, and let's do a guessing game. Alright, so for this game, will actually be, medyo para tayong balik to school. Balik eskwela, even though, same as Anna, 10 years na since I was in a school, in a classroom. But we'll be flashing an after photo of a do-it-yourself upcycled project. And the twist is, kailangan yung mag-guess, ano nga ba yung old or used item that was used before it was upcycled. So upcycled is the process of transforming an old item and giving it a new purpose. So to help you, since baka bago pa lang sa inyo yung concept na to, we've actually added multiple choices for your answers. And to join, all you have to do is comment your answer below, and later on, we'll randomly pick those who answered correctly as our giveaway winners. So as an example, again, may pot. Kunwari ito, so yung repurposed function niya is a plant pot, but the old item is a cooking oil. So again, may options naman, multiple choice naman to, and just like in school, C is the key, pero yung iba, dalawa lang yung choices. So let's begin. Again, just comment down your answers below, and later on, by the end of the show, doon namin i-announce yung mga winners. So let's go ahead and share our first item. Item number 1 is a pencil case. So now you only have two options. Was these pencil cases plastic cups or plastic bottles? So medyo tingnan natin yung shape ng plastic. Does it look like a cup? Does it look like a bottle? Game na sila. Jengel? Okay. Mukhang ang dami nating sagot. Maraming letter B. Great. So again, later on, pabilisan lamang to. Let's go on and move on to our second item. So summer ngayon, sobrang tag-init. And madalas kahit maiksi yung buhok ko, kailangan ko ng scrunchie. So this scrunchie, do you think it was made from old t-shirts or B, bag? Since may A at B, mas better na I think you can say the word bag. And then we'll show you later on. So actually, yung item number 1, kailangan ko na pala i-share yung answer key as your teacher for today. So B, the answer for the pencil case, item number 1 is plastic bottles. And then for item number 2, since you already shared your answers below in the comment section, the correct answer is the scrunchies were made from old t-shirts. So thank you guys for sharing. Pabilisan lamang to, but we still have a few more items to go. So let's go and move on to item number 3. And related to dun sa pinakita ko kanina, which is the pots. So was this made from tin can or plastic pot? Para sa mga plantitos or plantitas in our room, which one do you think this item came from? All right. Better to, I think, add the name of the actual item since marami tayong A and Bs para easier also for our judges to find out who is the winner. Okay. So this item, this plant pot was actually from The correct answer is A, tin can. Okay, great. Congratulations to everyone who got that correctly, and hopefully that's something that you can practice at home. Let's move on to item number 4. So item number 4 is a pin board. So somewhere you can put post-it notes or reminders to remind you of your errands and all of the other things that you have to fix in your home. So is this made from rolled paper bags, A, or B, bottle corks? I think this one is pretty easy. Mukhang may mga nauna na. Thank you so much, Honeybell, Nell, Angelino, for all answering. And the correct answer for this one is letter B, bottle corks. Okay, let's move on to our very last item. So this is our item number 5. This one medyo malaki. Oh, nice. This is actually a school chair. So yung mga nakakamiss na ng mga school, nag-e-learning sa bahay, I'm sure you already miss the outdoors. And so this school chair was actually made from either A, bottle caps, or used coffee capsules. I think this one is a little bit tricky because it's such a huge item. I'm not sure which one it is, but thankfully I know the answer key since ako yung teacher today. And the correct answer is, maraming salamat to everyone who answered. Thank you, Jabmel. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Aloisa. The answer is letter B, coffee capsules. And as you can see, that's actually the CBTL coffee capsule. Speaking of this, CBTL has this project called Brew a Cup, Build a Future, where you can actually collect all of your used CBTL capsules so that we can recycle them and create them into school chairs, tables, and other materials for another use. As mentioned by Anna, sometimes the plastic, it's very useful. It's a benefit. It has a lot of benefits, and it's not little on its own. So if we find a way to use them for another purpose, then we'll be able to reduce our waste in the process. If you don't know what to do with your used capsules, this is a great way to start. You just have to donate them. So in order to learn more about Cup, Build a Future, just make sure that you like and follow the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf and Caring Cup on Facebook and Instagram, and just message any of those channels to learn how you can donate your coffee capsules. So maraming salamat to everyone who joined our trivia. If masyado kayong, nauna yung mga keyboard warriors inyo, don't worry, we still have a lot of giveaways and ways for you to join. So one way for you to join is to type your questions. If may mga burning questions kayo, anything under the sun for Anna or Alex, feel free to type that on the comment section below. Another way for you to win some of our giveaways is to answer our poll questions. So we already have, one is how to repurpose your own waste, and two, ano yung mga lifestyle changes have you made recently in order to help us alleviate our plastic and waste problem. Okay, great. So thank you so much. Stay with us. So hindi pa tapos. Kailangan, we have to stay until the very end because that's when we're going to announce the winners at the end of the show. And if you miss our games, you can still win a reusable tumbler or a 500 peso e-vouchers from CBTL by submitting your best question or your answer to our poll on the comment section below. Okay, great. So that's it for our quick break. Now let's go on to our next speaker. So adding depth to our conversation is a food scientist by profession and a multi-awarded social entrepreneur, climate change advocate, and peace and nation builder. His venture, Bambuhay, was actually awarded as the 2018 Top 10 Social Enterprise Award in Singapore. Wow. Tonight, he'll actually be talking about living a mark, as in LIVING, through sustainable living. He'll talk about circular economy and how individuals and organizations can contribute to a sustainable future. So let's give a warm thumbs up or emotions in our comment section. And let me introduce to you Mark Sultan Gesraba. Hi, Mark!
Hi, Ayen. Napakaganda mo ngayong gabi. So, hello everyone. Magandang gabi sa ating mga viewers.
Mukhang plantito ka rin, no? Parang medyo matching yung background natin ngayon.
Yes, actually, mayroon talaga akong farm. So, aside from sa mga being a plantito, mayroon din talaga akong minamanage na farm.
Nice. And I'm sure we'll hear all about it, your whole journey, the circular economy, and yung story din ng Bambuhay sa presentation mo. And I'd also like to say good
Yes.
evening to the people that are just tuning in. So good evening daw kay Thain Tejada. Good evening daw, Mark. And good evening to Samantha,
Yes.
Giselle, and Awi. So, all right. So, Mark, go ahead and take us through your story and how we can leave our own mark through sustainable living.
Okay. So isang napakagandang gabi sa ating lahat. So I want to start my presentation with a very personal journey towards sustainable lifestyle, from reforestation, recycling, and now to circularity, or popular known as the circular economy. So my environmental consciousness was started in 2007 when I found this mountain in our province in Sultan Kudarat, already deforested. So I started the reforestation effort in partnership with the community, and after 9 years, it is now a full-grown forest. So during those times, medyo wala pa rin akong pakialam sa plastic pollution, recycling. Minsan nagsusunog pa kami ng basura sa bahay. And in 2016, when I knew the threat of plastic pollution, I started with my personal journey towards zero waste lifestyle. So nung nasira yung mga utensils ko sa bahay, so I started to replace it with environmentally friendly products, and I felt in love with bamboo. So why bamboo? So bamboo plays an important role in forest restoration and climate change mitigation, as it captures more carbon dioxide, naturally purifies the air, releases 30% more oxygen, the fastest growing plant in the planet, and plant only once, and harvest for life. So may forever sa bamboo. So during those years, it's very hard to find eco-friendly products, especially during that replace the single-use products like the plastic straw. And also, instead of sometimes we are criticizing the companies, why not instead of criticizing the companies, why not we innovate something to help those companies transition into sustainability? So I need something for them to join the movement. And that's really one of my advocacy, that I really want to influence those different companies. And I developed this bamboo straw, and that was Bambuhay was born. So dito po siya, inspired from this sumpak, or tinatawag dating nung mga bata pa tayo, ginagamit natin to. So Bambuhay is the first mover in the country who revolutionized bamboo in replacement of plastics products. And we approach different restaurant, coffee shop, hotels, and CBTL is the first company who listened to us and partnered to us, started using bamboo straw in their outlets. Bambuhay also is the first supplier of CBTL of the bamboo tumbler, and the partnership continues until now. So I am not really satisfied with my sustainable lifestyle journey that ends up am I craving for more. So I am a food scientist and chef by profession, so I always cook for myself and my family. So I started to refuse single-use bags and shift to eco-friendly bags, and that ends up to refuse those small goma. Kung nakikita nyo na may tinatali doon sa mga gulay. So and I encourage those yung mga nagbebenta ng gulay to use this bamboo tie. And later on, and of course, for my fish cuts, kasi ayoko nang bumili ng mga bagong material, so I use itong kaserola sa bahay. So ito yung ginagamit ko, dinadala ko sa loob ng Robinsons or kung saang mall man, tapos yun yung nilalagyan ko ng mga cold cuts. And later on, I stopped ironing my clothes. Okay, yung mga hindi na ako nagpa-plancha ng aking mga damit, because in reducing it, for your whole life, you are going to eliminate for around 190 kilogram of CO2 sa buhay mo. And of course, One thing is, because I really want that this could be sustainable and there's have some products made of bamboo. So yung mga pampapugi ko din sa ating mga kalalakihan, so these are the natural bamboo. So tingnan nyo naman yung naging resulta. Okay, so mga kapwa ko kalalakihan dyan, papahuli pa ba tayo? So ito yung totoong ebidensya. So ang bamboo, sikreto ng mga guwapo. Okay, kidding aside. So sustainable lifestyle, not just all about taking care of the planet. It's all about taking care of yourself, your well-being, especially your mental health. Our own individual action, even how small it is, having a great impact. Our small acts, when multiplied by millions of people, can transform the world. And my cravings towards sustainability are already nonstop and move forward towards circular economy. So pinag-usapan natin kanina, ano ba talaga yung circular economy? So this is the model of the CBTL, of the Cuthibin and Tulip Circular Model in use beverage carton recycling program. So pag ginamit mo yung user, yung mga carton na ginagamit mo, may tinatawag silang 3Fs. The 3Fs stands for flip, flop, flatten, and then after that, you are going to return it doon sa mga outlet nila. And then ano ba yung ginagawa nila doon? So like the polymer and aluminum, ginagawa nila with a new products. Ang paper pulp, they dry it and press it into high quality fiber or create new recycled paper products. And of course, so we have this model from Bambuhay that we are going to launch soon. We will be the first manufacturing industry of bamboo toothbrush in the Philippines, and we are encouraging you to subscribe, because if you are going to subscribe with Bambuhay toothbrush, then after that gagamitin mo siya ng 3 months. Then after 3 months, you are going to return it or kukolektahin namin from your community. Then we are going to reprocess it, upcycle, or recycle it. Yung use mo na bamboo toothbrush, gagawin namin siyang into compost or bamboo charcoal. Then yung charcoal ginagamit namin as compost. And then yung compost will be used as your fertilizer. So that's how circular economy works. So meaning lessen yung mga basura natin at ginagamit natin ng paulit-ulit. So before I end my presentation, I want to show this video during my talk in 2019 One Young World Summit in London in United Kingdom.
I think we are having some technical difficulties. Walang sound yung video. But while we fix that, let's actually look at the comment section. Mukhang marami ka daw quotable quotes, Mark. And one of the quotable quotes na sinabi dito ni Champ Cody is, ang dami mong quotable. And I think one of that is, may forever sa circular economy. Tama ba?
Yes. Tama ka talaga. Tama ka talaga dyan, Ayen. So, mayroon talaga siyang forever sa circular economy.
So, paano ba siya hindi magiging intimidating? Is it okay na, the video?
Yeah, I think we're good for the video.
All right. And before we play, another quotable mo, according to Alex, is bamboo ang sikreto ng mga gwapo. So yung mga kalalakihan dyan, hindi na kailangan ng iba, bamboo lang. Alright, let's go watch your video. Mukhang Velvet loves the plants behind you. All right, I think we're still... Yeah, we're going to watch the video now. All right, we're going to skip the video since we're live and this is how virtual gatherings happen. Madalas we have technical difficulties pero the learning doesn't stop there. So I think, Mark, maraming salamat.
Yeah, sure. So I just want to end this presentation okay, with this, to challenge everyone on how we can move forward. Because currently we are targeting to reforest 100,000 hectares and target to eliminate 45,000 of plastic to eliminate. And to end this talk is I want to end it that let's be reminded that we only have one planet and it takes one person to take care of it, and it starts with you. So marami pong salamat.
At maraming salamat, Mark. I'm sure that left a mark in our
Yes.
watchers and readers. And I guess my question for you, and also a question for our watchers right now is, syempre may mga items that really go through the circular economy and they're constantly
Yeah.
repurposed. We find different functions. Pero may mga bagay din na ang hirap, di ba? Especially pag tons and tons of waste na yon. So I'd like to ask for you
Yes.
personally, ano yung mga single-use items that you've said no to or refused in order
Okay, so
to reduce
basically
your
number
waste?
one talaga is yung plastic straw. So I say no na talaga siya. Like it's almost 3 years na hindi ko na siya ginagamit. And then yung mga cutleries, I'm using, so usually pag hindi wala talaga akong dalang kutsara or nakakalimutan ko, I'm using my hand, di ba? Traditional natin yan na Pilipino, ang sarap magkamay pag kumakain. So wala tayong rason. So minsan kaartihan lang talaga. Okay, nandun lang talaga yung kaartihan natin bilang isang tao. But still at the end of the day, 'di ba? Ang sarap magkamay if in case kung sasadyain talaga natin. Yeah.
Salamat. And it's also just, kind of like returning to our roots, our cultural heritage, na pwede naman tayong magkamay, pwede tayong
Yeah.
kumain sa dahon ng saging.
Oo.
And I'd also like to ask our audience, so si Renfree, wala na daw siyang sachet. So good job, Renfree, for that,
Wow,
for making
galing.
that switch. And same with Kathy rin, nag-reduce na rin siya ng kaniyang mga sachets. For Mingkai, just make sure to do proper hand hygiene. That's true, no? Kasi because of COVID rin, and
COVID.
may influx talaga ng food delivery, may influx ng mga add to cart, as mentioned by Anna.
Yeah.
But there's still ways for us to be more mindful, just as mentioned by Alex. Alright? So si Champ, kaparehas din siya. Wala na daw plastic straws. And Mingkai, good job. You actually do DIY. She makes her own shampoo, toothpaste, and deodorant. Love it. So if you can share the recipe on the comment section below, why not, diba? And for everyone that's answering,
Yes.
this also gives you a chance to win one of our giveaways. By just sharing your stories, you're not only giving inspiration and ideas to the rest of the audience, you also get a chance to win some of our e-vouchers and our tumblers below. Alright, maraming salamat, Mark. Maraming salamat din sa lahat ng mga
Yes,
tune-in.
salamat, Ayen. Yes.
Hindi na kita papaalisin, Mark, because the next part of our segment or our episode is our Q&A. So just stay with us as we call back our guest speakers, Anna and Alex. All right, now it's time for our Q&A. Welcome back, Anna and Alex.
Hello, ladies. Hello.
Hi, Ayen. Hi, Mark.
And
Hi, ladies.
para lang tayo nag-hangout ngayon, no? Pero magkakaiba tayo ng location. And we've got a lot of questions from our viewers tonight. Sobrang dami talaga sa comment section. And we hope that you are ready to answer some of them. So, are you guys ready?
We were born ready.
Yes. Ibang level yung energy talaga ni Ana, no?
Pantayan natin. Kaya natin yan.
Oo.
So, ang number mo na.
Alright. So let's kickstart. Pwede naman natin sagutin yung answer in a like melodic with harmony kind of thing. In case gusto mo, Ana, talagang kumanta. But question number 1 comes from Renfree Lopez. Salamat, Renfree. How do we actually teach our children sustainability? So maybe not even our children, di ba? Pati adults. How do we make this something as simple as anyone can really just get it? Magkiklik tayo. And maybe we can start off with the chief mermaid herself. Napainom pa lamang sa kanyang
Naiinom pala ako eh.
Okay, si Alex muna kasi umiinom ka pa. Alex, go ahead. Salita natin si
Baka kasi
Ana.
mapagkamalan siyang may asawa na.
Ma-dehydrate siya. Go ahead, Alex.
Important to drink your water. Remember to drink your water. Okay. How do we teach anyone sustainability? It really two things, I think. First, always start small. Sometimes when we talk about sustainability, napaka all-encompassing, ang daming kailangan gawin. Nakaka-pressure siya na nakaka-intimidate. So most people would not be encouraged anymore to try it kasi parang masyadong mahirap naman yan. So always start small. And then the other thing is start at home because it's easiest not to do it at home. And it also takes a bit of the pressure off if you start at home muna and start small because parang it's within your immediate environment. So it is easy to control. And also, how do we teach children about sustainability in particular? Actually, sa YouTube, ang daming videos. Yung favorite ko is about si SpongeBob. May episode siya actually about climate change. At yung title, if you search nyo sa YouTube, The Endless Summer, forever ko yan pinaplug pag nagtutalk ako. So that's such a great resource for children to teach them a bit about environmental problems and why there is a need to be sustainable in our lifestyles.
Thank you so much sa pa-shout out kay SpongeBob, Alex. And again, just the quick tip or to summarize that is to start small and start at home. Now, let's go and move on to our newly hydrated Chief Mermaid, Ana. How do we teach children sustainability?
My tip or what I've learned is to meet people where they are. So if it's children, iba yung level that they can comprehend versus an adult. So with kids, when I teach kids, actually, in fairness, kids know a lot about sustainability. You know, when my friends who have children, when they say, "Oh, Tita Ana works in marine conservation," like their kids would say, "Tita Ana, diba turtles eat plastic sometimes?" Huh? College na ako nung nalaman ko yun eh. So it's good that there are a lot of resources available. But what I mean when I say meet people where they are, there are people also who don't want to be taught sustainability or meron silang certain views that they're sticking to about sustainability. So find out why they feel that way and what their motivations are for learning. For children, it's always good to use animals. I find that it's a good tool to teach them about the environment through wildlife. We get excited.
Thanks, Ana. So, meeting people where they are, no? At mukhang sila naman talaga sobrang active na nila kasi usually climate strikes, right? It's mostly the younger generation that are truly involved because it's the planet that they're going to inherit. So, for us na middle generation, let's also do our part to make sure that they have a planet that they can really call home. And what about you, Mark? Ano pa bang extra tips?
Alam mo nga, Ayen, actually mas madaling turuan yung mga bata kaysa sa matatanda all about sustainability. Honestly. So, I will relate that animals na sinasabi ni Ana. So, later on, yung ilalabas namin next week na bamboo toothbrush, in-engrave namin siya ng mga turtles, mga endangered species, in order that the kids is matutuwa sila kung na nakikita nila na nandun yung mga animals. Actually, sa bahay, kasi ang dami ko na ding pamangkin, so instead na niriregaluhan ko sila ng kung ano-ano, so yung una kong regalo sa kanila last year ay bamboo toothbrush. Yon. So yun yung niregalo ko sa ang tuwang-tuwa sila. Kasi nakikita nila sa farm yung bamboo na wala masyadong gamit. But still, look at now, our tito is using it, ginamit niya. And my first users talaga ng bamboo straw sa Pilipinas, yung mga pamangkin ko. Like pag pumunta sila sa school, may baon-baon sila, yun yung dala-dala nila in order to influence each other. So nakita ko doon talaga, sa pamilya namin, mas madali kong natuturuan yung mga pamangkin ko na mga below 12 years old kaysa sa yung mga kapatid ko. That's true. Totoo talaga yun.
So maybe the flip question is, how can kids teach the older generation about
Yeah,
sustainability?
yun
Maybe it's
yun.
really more of
Oo,
a
yun yun.
two-way conversation. So salamat, Mark. So for Cecil Francisco, yung favorite book niya daw is Princess Mononoke from Studio Ghibli. So for our readers, you can also share your favorite stories that maybe we can also share to the younger generation, to our nephews and nieces, to learn more about how we can save our world. So let's move on to the next question. This one is a bit more personal, Miss Universe vibe. So from Don Miguel Dizon Gonzalez, when and what was your turning point that you started conserving the environment? What triggered you? Ano yung shaping moment, or is it a series of choices that led to where you are right now? And maybe we can start off with Alex ulit.
Okay. Thanks, Ayen, and thanks for the question, Don. I grew up kasi in the province. I grew up in Negros Occidental. So I was always brought up in an environment na medyo green at even then, my dad was also a trustee for a certain marine sanctuary. So pag weekends, pumupunta kami doon sa marine sanctuary kasi kailangan ng dad ko i-check up. Kailangan niya tignan yung work niya doon. So I was always brought up in that type of environment. So it was always familiar to me. However, I decided to really become, at least in my profession, an environmental lawyer when I saw the Inconvenient Truth, yung first one ni Al Gore, where it really made me realize how bad climate change was going to be if we didn't act. And it really felt like an existential problem for all of us kasi it threatened directly our capacity to be able to live here on Earth. So realizing na ganun pala siya kalaking problema, medyo nagpanic ako. So to gain some control over the situation, sabi ko, sige, edi I will devote my life's work for now because I'm not that old yet naman. So hindi pa siya pwede tawaging life's work, bata pa ako, to just trying to be part of the solution.
Thanks so much, Alex. Bata pa tayo lahat. So, it's our life
Yeah.
so far and there's more to come. So, para din shout out for our watchers. So, you can also watch An Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. So,
Yeah.
storytelling is really a way to open up people's eyes. So, you ba, Anna, is it also a documentary or story or more of like a personal interaction?
So I grew up with an environmental lawyer, just to tie it with Alex was talking about. So my dad actually started environmental law in the Philippines. So I grew up talagang exposed to environmental issues. And we would have every conversation at home, every dinner, it was always about current events or environmental laws. So I talk about environmental laws with a lot of confidence. And people are like, "Are you also a lawyer?" And I say, "Yeah, I got my law degree from the dinner table." So dahil lang pinapag-usapan namin. So it just comes naturally. But it wasn't until after college. So just for context, I was an English major. I had no intention of pursuing environmental conservation. But I guess my upbringing caught up on me. And I co-founded Save Philippine Seas as a response to an illegal wildlife trade case back in 2011. So we're celebrating our 10th anniversary in May. Can't believe we're still around. But I'm constantly triggered. So to answer lang the second question, I think everyone in this conversation, we're still constantly triggered by the situations that we see or the situation that we find ourselves in. So patuloy yung turning points and journeys. Whoa.
No? May forever sa conservation kasi lagi may problema na
iba.
pa.
Exactly. Hindi tayo mauusap ng problema dito, guys.
Na-close mo na yung petition, may kailangan ng bagong petition. Kailangan naman ng signatures. Alam mo yan. Alright. How about you, Mark? May tatay ka din ba na into the environment? Similar to Alex and Anna.
Sa akin kasi it's too personal. Kasi lumaki akong bundok for almost 20 years. So meaning walang kuryente. So Tarzan talaga ako for almost 20 years. First ko nakakita ng kuryente when I was 23 years old yata. Then
Wow.
nakaligo ako ng dagat, ganun din. So, and then nung nakapunta ako ng Manila when I was 24 years old, at sinabi ko, ito pala yung Metro Manila, parang ayoko na. Okay, parang gusto kong bumalik ng bundok. And that, kasi nakikita ko na deforestation, everything, and that started an advocacy. But moving forward during the advocacy, like nag-ano din ako, dati nagrarally din ako, but still sabi ko, why not, instead of mag-rally, bakit kaya na maging parte tayo ng solution? Let's help yung mga kumpanya na to in order that we can that we can grow together. So, and that started my consciousness na, okay, let's innovate something and introduce it to the companies. And yeah, so naging full-time ko na rin na trabaho. I quit my full-time job. It's because of bamboo straw, diba? So ang ganda na ng buhay ko sana doon sa corporate world, but it's because of that. It's because of that passion that I really need to address na yun yung nagtitrigger sa akin pag may nakikita ako lagi na nagtatapon ng basura. Minsan tinatapunan ko din ng something na dala ko. Okay, so yun, oo. Totoo yun. Minsan hinihintuan ko talaga. So sila yung nagtitrigger sa akin. So please, wag niyo akong stress kasi in case baka hahabulin ko kayo pag nagtapon kayo ng basura kahit saan. So I think that's really personal story to me, and umabot sa level that on how we can work collaboratively instead just shouting, instead just criticizing those companies. Because at the end of the day, I can say Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf and other companies, I think wala naman sila talagang they really want to serve their customer. At wala naman talaga silang masamang hangarin na sirain yung kalikasan. It's just all about us also. Kasi meron din talaga, kumbaga, a portion of it na meron talaga ding naninira ng kalikasan. It's up also on how we can influence them. On how we can, kung paano natin sila ma-reach out. It's not just na parang lagi natin silang pinapahiya sa social media or anything, but on how we can work with them in order to address those certain issues.
Salamat, Mark. Mr. Universe. And it seems like parang yung common thread is you appreciate and you protect what you know or what you experience. So if you have this backyard na kagubatan or kabundukan, then obviously you want to continue appreciating that and having other people be able to appreciate and witness the beauty of nature too. Yun din yung padagdag ko dun. And I think just speaking in connection to what Mark said about organizations, I remember may quotable quote si Anna in one of her talks na parang kung gusto mo maging into the environment, wag ka na maging conservationist kasi sobrang dami ng conservationist. You can be an ad agency, you can be a corporation, but you can still make a dent by having this conversation. Sinabi mo yun. So yun. So regardless of where you are, your field, your home life, there's always ways for you to also make a change. And this is a question that you can also share in the comment section below. Ano naman din yung turning point para sa inyo? But we'll move on to our third question. So salamat, Christian Yu. Sabi ni Christian Yu, I have no idea where to start my green journey. Salamat for being honest. It's a bit overwhelming. True. Can you give me suggestions? So how can we help Christian get started without him feeling like, ay, ang perfect naman ng mga speakers dito. Parang hindi ko masyadong mataas yung level. How do we make sure that, anyone can start this journey?
Okay, I want to start.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, so I want to start it. Okay, bukas pumunta ka na ng Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, bumili ka ng bamboo straw doon. May binebenta sila. And that's the start of your journey.
Alright. Salamat sa pa-shoutout sa bamboo straws that are available and the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf branches. So very easy and very quick. Thank you so much, Mark. How about you, Alex?
Ako, check your bathroom and your kitchen. Most of the time kasi doon tayo maraming plastic use. So sa bathroom mo, tignan mo, may plastic toothbrush ka ba? Bumili ka na ng bamboo toothbrush kay Mark.
Thank you.
Yung shampoo and conditioner mo ba? nasa plastic pa rin, try to find products na may refilling station. Human Nature is one of them. And I think, Anna, you have a couple of plugs for products that have refilling stations kasi work din ni Anna yun. And then check din yung toothpaste mo, is it still in a plastic tube? There are many toothpaste tubs or other toothpaste products na in glass containers na. And even check in your kitchen. Yung pag nag-take out ka ba ng coffee, meron ka na bang reusable tumbler? Kung wala pa, edi go tomorrow, pag pumunta kang CDTL with your bamboo straw, buy a tumbler na rin para pag nagte-take out ka ng coffee, parating tumbler na yung ginagamit mo. And even mga household cleaners mo, Anna will talk about it also more, but may mga brands na may refilling stations na for mga household cleaners. So hindi mo na kailangan magbumili each time ng plastic container. And that alone already reduces so much of your plastic use. And
That's
then
true.
continue na lang to grow from there.
Salamat, Alex. So it's just about parang waste inventory, no? Starting in your bathroom and in your kitchen. Thank you. And thank you so much for our questionnaire, Christian Yu. So let's move on to our fourth question kasi sobrang daming questions. So this one comes from Casey Bautista Emata. Any techniques po that you can suggest for us to entice more people to adopt resource sustainability practices, especially yung mga medyo skeptical, those that think that this is inconvenient, hassle. And let's ask Anna to give us the down low on how we can recruit more people in our movement of the environmentalism.
I think we have to recognize that ako for me, I really acknowledge na yes, it's inconvenient. And even me, I have to admit na meron akong mga gustong gawin. So for example, I was just telling my friend today na there are plastic drop-off like collection points or plastic collection points. So sometimes I gather my plastics and then bring it there. But it's so inconvenient, right? You have to take some time to collect them, dry them, clean them, and then bring them there. So we have to kind of be forgiving and kind to ourselves to acknowledge that yes, some practices are inconvenient, but there are also some that are not. So for example, Mark and Alex were saying replace some things with reusable items. But for me, it's actually already using what we have at home. So if you have a plastic toothbrush, then use it until you're hygienically not supposed to anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just keep pushing. I think for me, kasi we always push. There's a movement to make green about consumerism when it's about extending the life of what we already have and using what we already have at home. If we are skeptical about it, I don't think we have to force people or be self-righteous about it or be parang doomsday na o kung ikaw hindi ka bumibili ng shampoo bar, mamamatay yung mga turtles, mga ganyan. For me, it's always just showing, lead by example. Instead of being self-righteous or being preachy, just lead by example and show that how your life and your community and the wildlife are benefiting from the decisions you made. And then you'll inspire people more than you will ever realize.
Nice.
I just want to add
sort
with
of
that with Anna.
Yep, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so kasi inconvenience. So why we are experiencing this pandemic, it's because of our convenience. Because we are always thinking of us. Yung sarili lang lagi natin, yung tinitingnan natin. That okay, I just want na, okay, lahat binibili ko na lang, single-use, everything. And kung titingnan naman talaga natin, if we are going to learn with our, sa mga ninuno natin, wala sila ng ganon, and they have a good life. Like umaabot ng ilang taon, 100 years. And they have really a very good environment. So learning from that is really, yun yung kailangan nating isabi sa ating sarili that we really need to, if we really want to have a good life, we really need to always, kailangan nating tanggalin lagi yung sinasabi na lagi tayo. Okay, yung sarili lang natin for our own goods, for our own good, kailangan tanggalin natin yun sa yung perspective na yun. Because at the end of the day, kung titingnan mo, okay, ito nga, okay, ang convenient ng buhay natin for how many years, then it's just one snap, it's just one click, okay? Yung lahat ng pinaghirapan natin nawala, it's because yung virus is napunta nakaskip na doon sa kanyang doon sa kanyang kung saan siya naninirahan. And we really need to it's just a little sacrifices. Hindi naman siya buwis buhay. Okay? Na mamamatay ka talaga pag tinanggal mo yung single use na mga product or magdadala ka ng sarili mong container doon sa pag namamalengke ka. Hindi naman siya ganoon kahirap. It's just all about that in conserving our environment. I think we really need to balance our convenience and the convenience of our environment.
Maraming salamat, Mark. So it's learning from our ancestors and what Anna mentioned, starting with what you have and not vilifying other people, but actually just, being an example. If mukhang nag-transform ka at masaya ka pa rin, syempre yung ibang tao, parang maiengganyo rin sila. Kumpara sa sobrang hirap na hirap ka kasi yung first thing that you do is to sacrifice, for example, shampoo altogether. Baka pwede namang may solid shampoo bar or something that you have at home that you can use for DIY. Sabi nga ni Ming kay Life kanina. Alright, so thank you guys so much. Let's move on to our fifth question. This one is from Ping Pidlawan. And I think si Alex is the best person to answer this one. Do you think we need to craft more laws para to eventually eliminate single-use plastics and promote taking care of our environment?
Thanks for the question, Ping. And although we do have already laws na nakasala in Congress to ban single-use plastics, as well as the DENR is already trying to roll out their own policy to ban single-use plastics in the country. And a lot, of course, as we know, a lot of local government units already ban single-use plastics. If you notice in Makati, hindi na pwede lagay ng plastic bag, plastic straws. So a lot of these bigger companies like Coffee Bean also has already replaced their single-use plastics in their stores. However, it is true that we do need to craft more laws kasi we need to have these laws to really compel, especially the big companies, to stick by a system that eliminates single-use or lessens the use of single-use plastics when it is unnecessary naman. Of course, we understand kung parang medical product yan, kailangan pa rin yan ng single-use plastic, of course, but yung unnecessary lang na use of single-use plastic. However, more importantly, I think, than the law is what we need to invest in right now is studies that show us where these problems are coming from. There are a lot of questions of whether is the problem of marine pollution, is that problem because may leakage tayo in a dump site, or is that because hindi tayo nagsasegregate ng tama? So for us kasi to craft good laws, it has to be science-based. And without these studies, hindi rin tayo makaka-craft ng mga maganda na mga laws. So I think more importantly at this point, since this is a pretty novel problem, is besides the laws, we also have to start looking at the studies and science and fund these studies and science to be able to actually know what the problem is and what the solution should be.
Salamat, Alex. You're always trying to make us think deeper. Na baka hindi lamang siya yung pag-promote ng laws, no? It's also just really understanding the problem and how we can create safeguards, legislation, and other non-governmental solutions to help alleviate this problem. And just a shout out, meron ding greenprint.ph. It's a website where you can actually help promote 4 bills that help safeguard our environment here in the Philippines. So you can actually contact your representatives in Congress and ask them to support one of these bills. Ayan. All right. So maraming salamat for answering that, Alex. And thank you so much, Ping, for that question. We're down to our second to the last question. And this one is from Rax Serrano. Paradigm shifts from plastic to paper, especially in large scale, could and can be detrimental to our forestries. How then can we ensure balance in both plastic and paper use? So ano nga ba? Is it plastic or paper? How do we strive and create this balance, Mark?
Okay, me personally, I am not a fan of single use kasi. Anything na single use. Ma-paper man yan, ma-plastic man yan. I am not a fan. Because let's just be realistic. Like in terms of carbon footprint, mas mataas yung carbon footprint ng paper products compared to plastic. The problem with plastic is hindi siya, ang tagal niyang ma-decompose. And to the point it became microplastic, and it enters our our food chain. So basically, so that's why from our company, kasi hindi pa talaga siya maiwasan. So that's why we are promoting bamboo. Because before, Philippines, like sa Pilipinas, we have around 1.5 million hectares of bamboo forest. But yun lahat is pinutol ng dahil sa dahil sa kaingin or anything, kasi halos walang value sa Pilipinas before yung bamboo. And now, so yun yung we are promoting it to reforest the 1.5 million hectares, na ibalik siya sa dati niyang na tamnan siya ulit ng bamboo, in order that this, if bamboo kasi is you are just going to plant it once and then it will grow forever. So hindi ka na pag tree kasi is yung ginamit natin pag tinanim mo in 10 years, so you need to wait for 10 years bago ka ulit mag-shift into bago ka ulit maka-harvest. Which is, if in case we can, for bamboo, continuous na siya. After 3 years, like tinanim mo ngayon, after 3 years, the supply is continuous na siya. And aside from that, it provides food, it provides shelter. So ang dami niyang gamit. So kaya nga tinatawag na namin siya, this is bamboo is the symbol of sustainability, or what we call is the grass of hope. So as much as possible, if in case kung kaya mo talagang i-refuse, please refuse single use. Kung kaya mo namang magbitbit, ako, I don't care, nagbibitbit ako ng gulay kung minsan nilalagay ko lang sa bulsa ko kung nakakalimutan ko. So ganun ako ka conscious. Minsan hinahawakan ko lang siya sa kamay, so and then the people, syempre magtitinginan, but diba, why ashamed? Okay, bakit ka mahiya na magdala? And to the point is you are contributing for the welfare of the environment. So yun. And if in case, sabi ko, kung hindi maiwasan, try to repurpose it. Later, try to discover all about circular economy on how it works in your home and in your personal journey.
Thanks, Mark. So reimagine some of the materials, and parang pagiging madiskarte lang din, di ba? So may dala tayong reusables, gamitin natin yung kamay natin, and yeah, let's just do our part to leave our own mark. All right. And now we are down to our last question. Maraming salamat sa lahat na nag-ask ng questions in the comment section below. We won't be able to answer all of them kasi lahat tayo kailangan din naman natin matulog. But for now, this is the last question, and later on, I'll ask our guest speakers to also share how you can continue to reach out and engage in conversations with them and their other organizations. So this one, since kakatapos lang ng 3-3 sale, and yung mga tao dyan, please mark yourself safe if hindi kayo bumili or nag-add to cart. Since online selling has been rampant this quarantine, kasi we know we don't want to go out of our homes, what would you suggest as an alternative packaging for our parcels to minimize the use of too much plastics? And Anna, please let us know, since may e-commerce business din ako at problema ko rin to.
This is a really good question, and I don't think we've found the right answer, or like the most sustainable answer. I guess the first recommendation I would make is to one thing that I've seen is using like used documents and then shredding it and using that as the filler instead of like the styrofoam balls or the styrofoam packaging, or old newspapers also are some of the things that I've seen being used to wrap, especially the breakable items. But if we want to take it a step higher, we need to demand what we call reverse logistics. I'll explain it in a bit, from our e-commerce site. So what I mean by that is, alam mo, kailangan naman talaga natin ng packaging to keep our items safe. But I also feel like our retailers should take accountability and find a way to bring that back. So like one of the things that you talked about earlier, like the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf is doing something like this with their recyclable coffee pot. So Parang yun yung tinatawag nating extended producer responsibility, where we also ask the retailers and the companies to take responsibility for the packaging that they create.
Thanks so much, Anna. And some small businesses are already doing that, di ba? Kasi nakaka-reduce din siya ng cost. So kung yung
Yeah.
paper bag na ginamit niyo, bumalik sa'yo, edi magagamit mo siya uli. And
Yeah.
someone else whose package will be able to be protected. And at the same time, you also have more accountability for your actions. So thank you so much, Anna. All right, so that's it for our questions. Thank you so much to our watchers for sharing all of these meaningful questions. I'm sure ang dami ng umano sa isip nyo of what you can do, and maybe what you can do later is to go to your kitchen or your bathroom and check what you have, what you own, and start there. So now I'd like to ask our guest speakers. Mukhang nawala si Mark, but I'm sure he'll be back soon enough. How do they continue reaching out to you? If they'd love to learn more, get involved in your organizations, paano, saan, how do they slide into your DMs? And we can start off with Anna, then Alex, then Mark.
So on all the social media platforms, I'm at Anna Oposa, that's double N, and then Save PHCs or Save Philippine Cs. Hope to see you online.
Thanks, Anna. How about you, Alex?
Hi, the best way to reach me is via my email, and you'll see that right now being flashed on screen. As well as you can also find me on LinkedIn. My name's Alexandra Gamboa.
Professional.
Sobrang
Ganyan tayo,
professional ni
guys.
Alex, no?
Ganyan tayo, girl.
Thank you so much, Alex. I hope you receive love letters via email after the show. And Mark, how do they reach out to you and learn more about what you do?
Yes, we're in Facebook, Bambuhay PH, Instagram at Bambuhay PH, the same with Twitter. And also, I'm not able to plug there, Zero Waste Pilipinas for our advocacy. So Zero Waste Pilipinas, that's our advocacy in our Facebook page. Mark Sultan Hersaba for my personal account. It's the same thing with my LinkedIn account.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. And if you guys want to know more about Brew a Cup, Build the Future, please like and follow the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf and Carrying Cup on Facebook and Instagram to help out in their other ongoing projects and fundraisers. And now we are down to the last part of our episode, which is usually the favorite part ng mga watchers natin. And this is where we're going to announce our giveaway winners. All right, our tech team will be looking through all the comments. Good luck to them sa sobrang dami. So we'll be announcing first the 5 winners of 500 e-vouchers, and then 5 winners from of the 2021 Giving Journal from the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. Okay, so we'll do our first 5. So these are the winners of our 500 e-vouchers. So congratulations to, drum roll please. Guys, patulong naman sa drum roll ko. Mag-isa lang ako dito. Thank you, Mark. Parang sinamahan mo ko doon. Hindi namin na ito na-practice kasi live siya. So, congratulations to our first 5 winners of 500 e-vouchers. Congratulations to Erica Castillo Juan, Mara Espina, Rax Serrano, Alyssa Cardenas, and Joselle Guantero. You guys won each a 500 e-voucher from the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. Congratulations!
Yay!
Salamat sa enthusiasm, Mark.
Yay!
And now, we go on to our next batch of winners. Ito naman ang mapapalalulan nyo as the 2021 Giving Journal. It's dateless, so you can start anytime and document your progress in your sustainable living. So congratulations to Renfrey Lopez, Don Miguel Dizon, Gonzalez, Christian Yu, Casey Bautista Mata, Ping Pidlaon. Salamat sa mga meaningful questions, and I hope you guys enjoy your giving journal. So, thank you so much for answering our questions. And last but not the least, ito na, last na, the 5 winners of our reusable tumblers. So you can skip your single-use bottles and even reuse this or refill your drinks in any of the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf branches. We have our winners. Ako na mag-isa nag-drum roll.
Yay!
Keith Perez, the Mingkai Live, Angeline Vivo Rodriguez, Eva Rala, Christina Garcia, B. Osario. Congratulations. Each one of you guys won a reusable tumbler from the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf for getting the correct answers during our upcycle game. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
And for all of our winners, 15 of you guys, kindly message the page of the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf to know how you can claim your prizes. All right, time check. It's 9:05. We've been together for the past more than 1.5 hours. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Anna. Thank you to all our watchers. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies.
Thanks,
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Thanks for
Maraming
watching.
salamat
Bye.
for everyone for listening to us. I hope you guys are enlightened and ready to kickstart your sustainable living. So we want to hear about your lifestyle changes. Feel free to also share them on our social media pages. And if you're interested in helping out the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaves brew a cup and build a future project, just drop off any of your UCBTL coffee capsules at any of their branches. Just message the page to learn more. Like and follow and subscribe, pero walang YouTube. Follow their page on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their latest announcements, promos, offers online and in-store. That's it. I'm Ayen de la Torre. Maraming salamat for taking part in the Caring Cup conversations. Have a good night and have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.